and he just kind of ran his team, a lot of confidence. That was the next thing I noticed about him, a lot of confidence. And so I just knew when he came to high school, if nothing else, he could lead a basketball team. So when he got to high school, as I'm coaching him, I remember one night we were playing in a district game at Jackson County, big game at the time. They were pretty big rivalry at the time, and it was a close game. I don't know, it was just a few seconds left. It was tied, or we were up or down 1 point or something, and I thought, I'm going to test him right here a little bit. So I said, Matt, come here real quick. I said, no, actually, he came to me. He said, hey, Coach. He goes, well, what do you want to do? And I just looked at him and said, I don't know. What do you want to do? And he just kind of looked at me like, but he immediately told me. Now, the point wasn't whether he was right or wrong or whether I agreed or disagreed. The point was that he made a decision. And that was another thing about him, decision maker. And I tell you all that because I think that's probably one of the reasons, or some of the reasons why he became pretty successful at coaching is, he was confident. He's a leader. He make decisions, and from experience, trust me, you can make there's a lot of times you young kids may not know this, but a lot of times we don't know what to do. You think we do, but we really don't. I'm like, man, should we play zone, man? Should I do this, do that? And we're really, so it's just a guessing game. And this has nothing to do with Matthew, but just a quick funny story. I was playing in a region game one time, and I asked my two assistant coaches, a few seconds left, they had the ball, we were up, been playing man-to-man the whole game. I said, hey, guys, you think we ought to go zone right here? They ain't seen it all night long. Let's throw zone in. Both of them like, no, stick to man. I went zone. We got beat by a last-second shot. So, so usually, you want to go along with them. That way we're all three to blame. But anyway, so I'm not going to tell you any stories about Matthew as a player because it's what I'm up here to do. But as far as funny stories, Coach Nave, so you got any stories about as a coach? He goes, Lord, where do you want to start? I could write a book. And I said, that's one or two, will be okay, I guess. And probably a lot of you guys, if you saw him in his games, know this. And I got to see Coach Reesby coach a few times, not a lot. I was usually doing the same thing he was. But supposedly, he wore a tie early on. I think I did too. I think he and I both figured out down the road it was just a basketball game. I mean, what are we wearing a tie for? But anyway, when he had this tie on one night, his team got a technical. He didn't. His team got a technical because they were did something wrong in the warm-ups or whatever. And so he had to sit on the bench, and at some point in time in the game, something happened. He jumped up, ripped his tie off, and threw it down, and then he slipped and fell on it, busted his tail right there on the court. So I didn't get to see that. I would have liked to have seen that, but I didn't get to see that. But anyway, some things about him. 2 district championships. 2014 and 15, 1 region championship. In 2015, that was the first boys region championship in 30 years. 2 sub-state appearances, 2011 and 2015. 2-time District 8AA Coach of the Year. Hosts a single season most wins in a season, 28 in 2015. 144 career wins in 9 seasons. Second all-time win as coach. Tied for longest tenured head coach. Cannon County High School Athletic Director, 2015-2017. First Cannon County Middle School Athletic Director. Instrumental in starting the first girls and boys middle school basketball teams for Cannon County. Director of Cannon County Youth Basketball from 2009, 2017. And, my kids played in that, so I know, he spent, every time I was up there, I saw him. He put a lot of time into that. Started at Cannon County Youth Basketball after junior pro was no longer. Presently, Sickle basketball coach. Speaking of athletic directors, his athletic director's up there. I think he just wanted to see if he'd mess up tonight. But anyway, I will say this. Being around basketball my whole life and being from Woodbury, seen a lot of coaches come and go. I always felt people like Coach Rigsby, Coach Nave now, Coach Patrick, Coach Clements. The thing that they all have in common is that they all grew up here, they're from here, and as coaches, they want their team to win. But they also want their school to win, they want their community to win. And I know that because I experienced that. That's one of the things I miss about that community feel. And it's real. It's real. So, but anyway, tonight, let me present Coach Rigsby.
My whole life, every time I look up, Ronnie Burks has got a camera in my face. I love you, Mr. Burks. Thank yous. Ronnie Burks will be my first thank you after I took that shot at him. Thank you, obviously, Coach Bush, for that induction speech. More important than that, all the time you put into me as a player for 4 years. I never knew you had a sense of humor. You didn't in the 90s, I can guarantee you that. But more important than that, as a mentor to a 26-year-old head coach trying to find his way, I'm 40 now. We still bounce ideas off each other. Thank you, Coach Alan Bush. Courier for putting this event together tonight. Beautiful night, and thank everyone for coming. The Hall of Fame committee, whomever nominated me, and whoever that secret society of committee is, thank y'all very much. I'm grateful for this honor. Former players, you are who's made me to this day. It's all about you, and thank y'all for what you have endured dealing with me throughout the years. I'm grateful for that. As a coach, it's very gratifying when you have 27 text messages waking up on Christmas morning. Merry Christmas, Coach. Love you. Happy birthday, Coach. Love you. Sometimes I forget my birthday, but there's a bunch of them that actually remember it. So that's very gratifying. Thank you to my former players who are here in attendance. Speaking of two former players, thank you. We'll go out to current baseball coach Colin Jones. Where are you at, Colin? Can't see you. You up there somewhere? Yeah, there you go. God, shave that beard, dude. Get up. Thank you, Coach Colin. Thank you also, speaking of former player, your new head boys basketball coach, Jared Nave. These two guys, I became their head coach their sophomore year, so proceeded 3 years after the fact of running you in wind sprints, yelling at you, pushing you, screaming at you in the weight room, whatever. Somehow that transitioned to a lifelong friendship between you guys. Thank y'all for all the support you've showed me and my family. Thank you. Coach Bush touched on the community that is Canyon County High School basketball. It's a beautiful thing, and I want y'all to make sure that you understand exactly what you have. I never minded at all me taking a hit negatively. Oh, you should have been zone versus man, you idiot, with 2 minutes to go. All right. I guarantee you, Wallace Parton, if anybody remembers Wallace, he was going to say that with nowhere near as nice as that, but he was going to make sure that I understood I should have done it his way. The Arna Smithsons, the Tim Spryes, man, I miss talking at Parsley's over a biscuit about basketball with Bobby Wonka. All right. Not many places have that. Not many places have that community. Embrace that and don't take that for granted. Keith Reddy asked me, he came to office last week, done the interview for the paper. He got to ask me about stories that I may or may not remembered. One that did stick out to me in my mind was our senior year, going to McMinn County High School and playing the sectionals, which we lost in triple overtime. But we pull into Athens, Tennessee. Herb Alsop is driving the church bus. We pull into Athens, Tennessee. We stop at a red light. Of course, I was one of the cooler kids, so I got to sit in the back of the bus. I look out the back glass. It's a small town. You know every vehicle. You know what everyone's driving. All you see out the back of that glass at that red light is a line of Canyon County vehicles. And I remember, and that sticks out to me to this day, that was just a cool moment. That is that all these people, I didn't say it was a line of my personal family members. No, it was a line of nothing but Canyon County people who want to support you, who appreciate and applaud the hard work and effort that you put into something. And so don't lose sight of the community that you have here regarding your athletics, and be very thankful for that. Thank you to my parents, Randy Rigsby and Violet Rigsby. Without them, there would be no brand new Mizuno glove growing up. Wouldn't have the newest Nike basketball shoes. And yes, front row folks, I'm talking to you, so make sure you hug your parents before this is over and be thankful for them. No rides, obviously, transportation-wise, practices or games. No conversations about the hard lessons that athletics teach you along the way. My junior year, I was terrible. I was not a very good baseball player due to injury. Coach Alan Bush will tell you I just wasn't a very good basketball player due to I wasn't a very good basketball player. Having hard conversations with my mom, she was forever supportive and talking me through that and encouraging me. I could have quit. I could have punted. I could have moved on. And then I would have deprived myself of a very, very, very fun senior year of athletics. So thank you, Mom, for those words of encouragement along the way. My dad, hard lesson that he would give, he always coached me in baseball. Okay? No, Dad, you're not Bobby Cox. Sorry. But more important than that is I would be the selfish guy after every draft. He never would draft my buddies. He never would draft my buddies. As it would have it, me and my buddies were the better players in the league. So we would always just finish last. And my buddies would wear me out about it. They'd browbeat me, and it is what it is. What I didn't learn until well after the fact, because I was selfish, young, immature, is my dad knew the county. He drafted the kids that he knew wouldn't have transportation to practice or games. That's what he did. So back to athletics and life lessons, it's more about, I think Coach Haley said, wins and losses they're here. They have their importance somewhere. But, man, they're down on that list. So, young athletes, please take the time to not lose sight of those lessons that can be learned through this process. And it is a process. Thank you to my beautiful wife, Shelly, and my sons, Roy and Wynn. One day, Shelly's going to write a book on being a coach's wife, and I wish she would hurry up so we could retire early. I'm very thankful. Shelly was a heck of a player in her own right. Big-time AAU growing up, AAU Nationals in Minneapolis, 10U, and, of course, 4 years as a lineette. So she understands athletics. She understands kind of what is incorporated in my job. She gets that. I'm thankful for that. Not many people, you may claim that you understand athletics. There's a good chance you probably don't, especially team sports. It's a different phenomenon. It's hard for people to wrap their mind around sometimes. I'm guessing only a select few, of you out there see your spouse leave for work that morning or evening, only to wonder what you'll hear about their job performance once you get there to support them. What may come up on social media about their job performance after the fact? What friends may no longer speak to you over a round ball because of that job performance? How you're going to juggle getting 3 kids in 3 different directions because daddy has practice and daddy can't help. How you're going to take in 15 additional kids as your own and love them the same as you would your own. How you're going to deal with a moody, sore loser coming through the door on a Friday night. How a burnt concession stand hot dog can lead to an argument with my principal. That happened, honey. Just saying. I love you. Or just a simple fact, we don't make a whole lot of money as coaches, do we? All right. This is an old suit. I couldn't go buy a new one. Does that kind of sum it up? Is that pretty good, honey? Okay. With all that being said, there's 0% chance I've done any of this without you. I'm forever grateful for you, love you. You're the Hall of Famer, sweetheart. Thank you for all you do. To my sons, Daddy loves you. You are literally raised in a gym, but I'll always be your biggest fan. Maybe 2% of people here would remember Tomater. Shelly wanted me to bring Tomater tonight. If you get it, you get it. I chose not to. But thank you for cheering on Daddy's teams along the way. To my sons, race, coin, win. And I'm thankful that I get to be your biggest cheerleader too. I love you. While still playing 23 years ago, my relative and dear friend, Brandon Rigsby, calls me and says, hey, let's coach a junior pro team. That was my junior year of high school. Well, now he's in banking, making more money than I am, and I'm still stuck coaching. So thanks a lot, Brandon. I said, hey, sure, you Auburn people, Randy Toombs and Trent O'Neill was on my first ever junior pro coaching team. That's how old I am now. Went on to Woodbury Grammar, rest is history, get a degree, Fayetteville City. Thank you to Kim Parsley and Dr. Ed Dyden. That was the administration when I was hired. Kim Parsley, big time, looked me dead in the eye. I applied for the position and didn't get it previously. She looked me dead in the eyes and she said, I need you to go get high school experience. I said, yes, ma'am. I received professional honesty, and that's what I did. Get engaged, moved back to Warren County, spent a year as an assistant there on the high school level. To Miss Kim Parsley's word, she held her end of the bargain. Position came open, she hired me. I'd done what she asked me to do. She held to her word. Professional honesty will never hurt you along the way, young men and women. Adhere to that. While at Cannon, I get the job. The rest is kind of history. While at Cannon, my 9 years as a head coach, I would like to say I'm the all-time winningest coach, but Alan Bush has me by 3 wins, and I'm still a little bitter about it. But I learned a lot. I learned people look at you differently on Saturday morning if the Cab beats your rear end that Friday night. I learned that if you, Colin Jones, Jared Nave, blow a 17-point lead at Warren County High School, you'll make the top 5 commented stories of the year in the online edition of the Cannon Courier. That was a bang-up job by the Courier to allow anonymous. That was great, Mr. Fryer. I just can't applaud that enough. Boy, that was rough. Man, that was rough. I learned that between middle grades athletic director, high school athletic director, head boys basketball coach, head of youth basketball, flipping burgers for football, unclogging toilets for soccer, it was time my family deserved for me to take a step back. And that's what I did. And family first, ladies and gentlemen, family first. It's a hard lesson to learn sometimes, and you're not going to learn it until you do take that step back. During all that time, though, many great memories were made. Some good, some not so good. I chose the good and the bad memories to take with me to be the best coach I can be for Siegel High School. All right, and yes, Coach Greg Wyatt's in attendance, and thank you for being here. Still growing, still attempting to grow. Moving on, Coach Bush stole my thunder on the Jackson County story. I remember the day, back to the CCHS and the community that is basketball. I remember the day we hosted Brainerd in the Substate here at Robert A. We sold tickets throughout that day in the gym lobby, so people would come, give you people an inch, you're going to take a mile. Not only did you come to buy a ticket, you had to run in the gym without me seeing it and save your seat. So I look up, and by noon, that you couldn't see an inch of maroon of a bleacher. It looked like the hill of Starwood is how I remember referring it to. And cool moment. I mean, there was that support. People wanted to be there to support my guys. Everybody remembers a parking lot in East Tennessee. That's part of the story. That's part of my story. A lot of reflection went into that night. Months forward, a lot of reflection went into that. And the conclusion I came to was I wouldn't change a single thing. Would not change a single thing. And let me tell you why. Backtrack to me as a player for Coach Alan Bush. He would never take us to summer team camp at MTSU. And I know why. You thought you were sly, but we understood. What you don't know about the campus of MTSU is it's one of the leading universities in the country for its student services for handicapped and disabled, for its wheelchair accessibility. It's a flat campus. Did you ever think about that? Coach Alan Bush wasn't taking us to a flat campus for summer. He needed a hill somewhere for us to run. If we had 11 turnovers, we were running 11 hills before the next game. If I'd done something stupid, undoubtedly, poor shot, turnover, I'm sure I was guilty of it oftentimes, I was going to run a hill. My dear friend, we're playing at Hooper Eblin Center at Tennessee Tech. Coach Bush subs him out, Ryan Tenpenny. He subs him out. Instead of going over to the bench, Ryan Tenpenny shoots right up the tunnel, out the door, and starts running the hill outside Hooper Eblin. See, he knew it. He knew the expectation, and he didn't fulfill it. So looking back, as a coach, it's our job to teach accountability, to teach the youth. You're not going to achieve anything, ladies and gentlemen, without max effort. And it's okay. Again, I'm 40 years old. Who am I to judge anyone for when I make a mistake to hold me accountable? So looking back, other than beating Brainerd in the cab a couple more times, I changed nothing. I make no apologies for trying to hold kids accountable. And in my opinion, that is the foundation, the baseline to who we proclaim we should be as coaches. In closing, may I congratulate all who've been honored here tonight. Thank Keith and Courier, my awesome sons, my gorgeous wife, for allowing me to do what I do. I'd love for everybody to have a great evening. Thank you.
Being posthumously inducted into the Courier Hall of Fame is Bobby Womack. Bobby was a two-sport star who excelled in football and basketball in the 1960s, despite having numerous surgeries to overcome a childhood medical condition. Presenting Bobby into the Hall of Fame is lifelong friend Andy Bryson.
Thank you, Ron, Ken, and Courier staff, Homeland Community Bank for sponsoring the 10th Annual High School Sports Hall of Fame banquet. I want to say congratulations to all you athletes tonight been awarded. To the many people in the audience, you probably will not know this inductee, but if you're from Cannon County, your parents or grandparents will recognize the name. Cannon County is known for a long list of athletes, and I've been asked to introduce another great one tonight, my special friend, the late Bobby Womack, to this year's class. Bobby was a natural athlete and used his disability. It was never a disability to Bobby, as a motivation to play even harder than anyone else, and he always did, no matter what the sport was. When I began first grade in 1955, a long time ago, my first meeting with Bobby was on the playground during recess. Bobby was a third grader then, but it was clear who the best player on the field was. If I remember correctly, Bobby laid his crutches down on the side of the field and started playing just like everyone else. Throughout his grammar school days, Bobby had numerous surgeries on his leg until one day he said, "I'm through doing this. I will make the best of what I have." Luckily, I was chosen to be on Bobby's team that day, and the friendship began and lasted 60 plus years. Through grammar school and later when I began high school as a freshman, Bobby was a junior, and I was on the basketball team with him his junior and senior years. Bobby also played quarterback and punted on the football team and was captain in both sports. He was popular with everyone. After his graduation in 1965, my cousin, Dale Parsley Moore, and Bobby were married. They later moved to Murfreesboro, and his softball career really took off, playing on some of the best teams in the state for many years. Chromalox, Mel Adams State Farm Insurance, and one year he played on a national championship team, Don Foliage. Bobby played third base and most of the time, and occasionally played first base. He was an excellent defensive player and power hitter in his career. I don't have a lot of stats to read tonight to you, but I do know what kind of ball player and person Bobby was. He was special. I admired him for that and respected his desire to be a winner. In those days, Woodbury Central High had only two sports, basketball and football, and he excelled in both. He could score a basket or throw a touchdown pass if the team needed it. In Bobby's grandmother's backyard across the street from the high school, there was a basketball goal, and most of the time there was a game going on. It was a neighborhood playground for lots of kids. The Womack family has always been known in Cannon County for great athletes. His aunt, Betty Sue Smith, was a star basketball player. I played on a softball team with Bobby several years with he and his dad, Aubrey. His cousins, Al Smith and Jamie King, are already in the members of the Sports Hall of Fame and were also great athletes. Jamie's mom and brother I see are in the audience tonight, and I know his mom can attest to the games held in the backyard at Big Mama's house. Bobby's health began to decline in the last few years of his life. With teaching from many who inspired him, he was baptized and became a member of the Woodbury Church of Christ. He liked to talk to people, and people enjoyed talking to him. Parsley's Market on John Highway. Thank you again, Ron, for allowing me to be a part of this special program. I know it takes a lot of hard work and preparation, and I appreciate the County Courier honoring these athletes, coaches, and dignitaries for the past 10 years. To Bobby's sons, Rob and Ben, better known to most of y'all as Boomer, both of you are great young men, and I want to thank you for this thoughtful honor of asking me to speak on behalf of your dad. He was always a friend to me. He passed away 3 years ago, April 29th, 2019. Myself and a lot of his friends and family miss him each day. I know if he were here, he'd have a big smile on his face to accept this award. Thank you.
Believe it or not, to read this piece of paper, I have to take my glasses off. But it's the truth. My dad, our dad, would be so proud of this honor. It would blow him away. My brother and I would like to thank Ron and Keith and Sharon, Tess, and everyone at the County Courier for doing all the work to make this night happen. We really